Hi folks, today I want to share with you a video showing you how to update the portfolio lightbox, one of my favorite components when it comes to updating images in the website. As we've worked with this type of component for quite a bit of time, quite a few years, it's been modified and updated to really work well on mobile devices and do things like automatically or best size images and things like that to make it a little less work for you. But I'm going to explain the start to finish of how I would update this with best practices. So the cool thing about this is it has what's called a category filter, and you can add as many as you want to. So if we wanted people, places, and things, we could select places, and only photos with the places filter would show up when we select that category. Same with things, right? Each image that shows up includes a description, a title, has an option to preview a larger image, and when previewing you can sort of scroll through all the images like so, or an option to link to a certain page if you wanted to have a photo with more details. And this is a good thing for, say, products. You could have a product in here and use this as sort of a product catalog, and they could click for more details, or you could change this for a $sign if you wanted somebody to add it to their cart and go to a purchase page. However, to keep it simple, in this particular video today, we're going to show you how to change the image, the title, the description, and link to a new page, as well as connect the filters and add more filter categories. So let's start with the images themselves. I recommend whenever you do a gallery like this, the image size isn't as important as the image size consistency. Make sure your images are all the same size. That way they will show in the gallery with a lot of consistency. So to start with, we'll go into our site, we'll go to our library, and now we're going to go into the Pages folder, the Portfolio Lightbox, and this is the library file where we're going to be making all of our edits. We have all the resource files in the same folder, so the images are all stored in the Images folder, and we've named some examples here for you, Portfolio 1 through Portfolio 9. So if you're not sure how big an image is, you can always do this little cheat. Add a new page, and there's many ways of doing this, by the way, in Design View, and just drag an image onto the page, and it will tell you, we'll just flip to Code View, the width and the height. That's just one of my little tricks. I'm using 640 by 480 sized images because they're small enough to load quickly, but large enough to get a good view of what that picture is. You can use larger images, you can use smaller images. Keep in mind, in the page that you're viewing the images, you want to make sure they minimally fit the container size that you see here. And the default container size that we have is going to be around, say, 360 by 240. Okay, 360 pixels minimum by 240 minimum in height. So 360 wide, 240 in height, minimum size. Okay, you can go bigger or smaller. I wouldn't go any smaller than 360 by 240 though. All right, now let's get into it. How these filters work. In your library page, up at the very top, and this is all going to be done in Code View, sorry folks, but it is once you get used to making some updates, and it looks really ugly right now, I'm going to tidy this up in a second. At the very top, we have our filters. As you can see, all people, places, things, and they have filter names, filter 1, 2, and 3. If you look down, you'll see we have our first portfolio item, and it's sort of, you can tell the word portfolio wrap is the class name. Portfolio item is the actual full class name of the container, but it's buried in with all these other class names, so it's kind of easier to just find the portfolio wrap and move up a level. But at the end, once, like I said, once you get used to working with this, you'll see where the filter class is added. It's right there. There's filter 2, filter 3. For whatever images I want to show up for people, I'm going to add the class of filter 1 to the portfolio item line. So this line here with all its other fancy classes, we're going to add one new one, and we're going to call it filter 1. You can also apply this, you can have this same image show up under things. So you could add filter 3 as the class. So when somebody clicks on things, this image will show up. When somebody clicks on people, this image will show up. When they click on all, every single image is going to show up. So that's kind of how the filters work. You can create as many new filters as you want to by selecting an existing line and pasting it, copy paste, name it to filter 4 or whatever you want. I like to use sequential numbers just to keep things straight. And we're going to call this one stuff with an uppercase T, you know, just for fun, because we're cool kids. It has to be a unique class name. And I'm using filter and then a digit because I know that the .filter class is not used anywhere else in the website. I made sure of that. So if you create your own class names, you really have to make sure they don't already exist. Using filter and a digit, you're safe. It's not being used anywhere else in the site. Okay, so that's how to sort of add another filter category button up top, and then how to link an image to show up when that filter is clicked. Right, now I'm going to move my files panel out of view so we have some more room to work with, and it's going to look a little bit tidier. In the design view, so let's take a look at the things we want to do. We want to be able to add a new portfolio item. We want to be able to change the image, the item, the description, the page it links to. So the images themselves, I'm just going to once again move this window out a little bit further so things can stretch out a little bit and be all in one line. It's very short. I made a very small video window for you here. Okay, so to change the image, you can go to design view and select an image to sort of find where in the code it shows up, and then flip back to code. So the image that you see in the page, okay, the very first image, the thumbnail that you see right here, that is the very top image right here. That's the very first thing, the image tag using the image fluid, and there it is right there. So what I recommend you do, use some sort of formula that I'm using. Put all of your images into the same images folder. Name them something simple to identify. Keep everything lowercase, and if you can, keep it in one word. It's a lot easier to copy and paste something if you're using just one word. Watch this. If I wanted to change portfolio 1 to portfolio 9, I just sort of double click on the name, and look at that. It automatically selects the name of the file without the extension, and I can copy that. And then I can go over here, double click, and paste. If I have something with spaces and all that sort of stuff, it's just harder to copy and paste. I'm lazy, so there I go. Change the link or the file name here. Also, on the next line right below it, change it appropriately right here as well. You can have a different thumb and a different large image if you want to. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but you could do that if you wanted to. Okay, so once again, double click here and put the name in, or just type in the name of your image here and type in the name of your image right here. Like I said, I've tried to keep things easy for you, so you can just sort of double click on the portfolio 2, type in the new name of your image, or go over here, copy, paste, and paste. So in your case, maybe you want to have something like image1.jpg, right? Very easy to go here, copy image 1, double click on the existing image, and paste it in place, and you're done. As long as it's all coming from the same folder, very easy to do that in that regard. The next thing you need to change after changing the image is your filter. If you want to change, select which category it's linked to. And then you just need to, there's the description and there's the image title right there. The text in white, or depending on what version of Dreamweaver, you can just double click in the description, type in your new name, and select the title and type in your new title. Keep them short. These are not designed to fit paragraphs of text, 1, 2, 3 words at most, or you're going to start pushing the context out of place. When I say context out of place, what we want to do is we want to make sure that your description fits on one line and your title fits on one line. If you have so much in here that it pushes down to a second line, it's going to push or run into these buttons below. So just keep that in mind. Short and sweet. And finally, the actual link for the more details. This is something you could, if you want, sort of, nope, we can't do it in design view, sorry. For the more details right here, this little pound sign, if you want to keep this, just simply select it and just hit the space bar and go to the browse and find the page you want to link to, right? Give me a second, the video kind of slows things down here in Dreamweaver when I'm doing a demo. And there we go. Or you can get rid of the whole thing altogether. It's this whole A class right here. Just if you click here, you see where the entire line is selected. You can sort of just get rid of that whole A class like so, and you don't have that link anymore. So that's the description, that's the title, that's changing the image. The next thing you may want to do, of course you will, is add more images or remove images. To add more images, I'm just going to go to the very last one. You can do this in any order you want to, but let me just resize this back so it fits here real fast. Select an existing image, and what we're looking for is the column. So remember I talked about the portfolio item? Well, that's the portfolio item class right there, but it has the column large 4, column medium 6, right? I would say just look for the portfolio item, but it's kind of buried in amongst all the other classes. So really, when you click a picture, we want to start over on the right and move over until you see this big stream of classes right here. Portfolio item is the center, but it starts with column large 4. Click that. Go to code, and you'll see that the entire class that we need to copy and paste is already selected. So now we just do a copy, and right after the highlighted text where it ends, put your cursor. So after the blue in this case, I'm going to put my cursor right here and hit the enter key a bunch of times to give myself some room. Then I'm going to paste, right? And now what I can do, if I want to add 10 more images, I can just keep hitting the enter key, move it over, paste, scroll down, enter key, move it over, and paste, and keep that process going. The cool thing about this portfolio is we use all the standard Bootstrap grid system. It will automatically size to fit whatever device it's on. You don't have to worry about that. And as far as images go, just make sure they're at least 360 by 240, and you'll be able to create a fantastic gallery.